Just trying to remember what it was I said towards the end of the last video I put up. Oh, that's right. There was something about... we certainly are back to normal, so to speak. And then it was just a matter of a couple of days after that, after I put that video up, and then... bada boom, bada bang. So they, whoever they are, found some community transmission of the old nasty bug. Family of 4 all tested positive, and that has rapidly grown to being the biggest cluster in New Zealand. 180 at this stage, I think. So the government immediately put their tail between their legs and admitted defeat. No, they locked down Auckland. So Auckland's been in level 3 lockdown since that happened, and in a couple of days time they reckon we're going to go back down to level 2 because they've got it contained, but there are still quite a few restrictions on numbers and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of real strange shit happening in this world. Let me list the strange shit that's happening. Number 1, I haven't beeped out the swear words. Number 2, suddenly YouTube isn't sending me email notifications anymore when my people I'm subscribed to put up videos. I looked at all my settings, I've looked at everything I can. I'm really annoyed. What can I do? I haven't been able to go and see Mrs. B because of this bloody lockdown, so welcome to Alcatraz. This time they've got police roadblocks at heaps of points leading out of the city, both north and south. And if you haven't got a permit to travel or something like that, you get turned around apparently. Never thought I'd see the day. So we don't seem to have a lot of control over things in our world at the moment. One thing I do have control over is whether I put beeps over these swear words, so I'll do that because I can do that. You know, family friendly Marty and all that.
Family friendly Marty. Family friendly Marty. Family friendly Marty. All he cares about is likes.
Another bit of strange shit that I read in the paper yesterday. We've always traditionally had a 10 km/h grace thing, I suppose you could call it, where if you're doing, the speed limit is 100 km/h, and if you're doing slightly above that, it's up to the discretion of the police officer as to whether you get a ticket or not. They reckon that's all over. They're going to ticket everybody that's doing 101 km/h, 102, whatever. They say that'll bring down the mean average, whatever the that is. I think it's bloody ridiculous. They should be targeting the dickheads that are doing 120, 100... Oh, I'll shut up now. We're heading down to the edge of Auckland on the southern outskirts, a place called Bombay, named after the sailing ship that the first settlers in that area arrived here in the 1860s. I don't know why I spoke like that. And in Bombay, they've got a checkpoint apparently. I also have some elderly friends living out that way, so my excuse is that I'm going out to check up on them, and they live to this side of the boundary. So we're going to check out the checkpoint. Apparently on the motorway they funnel the trucks into the right hand lane and they just keep going, and all the cars have to turn off and go through the checkpoint. So we shall see. Of course I've been going out of the region just about daily, but there's no checkpoints on the rail, just down and back, down and back. Well, it's up the top of that hill where the checkpoint is. Of course there is a distinct lack of private vehicles heading this way, and heading in, they're getting stopped coming into Auckland as well. So They're allowed to travel through Auckland, but they have to stay on the motorway and not stop. And you're allowed to come home, but then they give you the if you go in, you won't be allowed to come back out. So here we go. Road Cone City coming up. Go left, truck right. Go left, truck right. Guess they're not expecting any motorcycles. I've actually got a letter from my employer saying I'm allowed to travel. Oh, Mrs. V, I could use that to get past. And don't you dare do that. You'll get in the shit with the cops. She didn't say that. She doesn't swear. You'll get in the shit with the cops and with your work. Don't be silly. Always the sensible one, Mrs. V. Always the sensible one. And you know, at this time of year, for many, many weeks leading up to the first weekend in September, which is not far away, there's a certain motorcycle club down in the centre of the North Island that prepares for a big, huge motorcycle rally. Last year, me and some young reprobates went to the 44th annual Cold Kiwi Motorcycle Rally. And in a couple of weekends' time, it was supposed to be the 45th annual Cold Kiwi Rally. But when we got hit with the lockdown earlier in the year, the Ruapehu Motorcycle Club, who had put on that motorcycle rally for so many years, had to make the call to cancel this year's event because they weren't able to get started with the preparations. They do a lot of work getting that rally organised. So it ain't going to happen this year. We're looking forward to 2021 and the 45th annual motorcycle rally. Road closed ahead. See these boulders sticking out just up here. Apparently they were dug out of the ground over here when the motorway was put through. There's an interesting story to go with that. But that's for another video, another time. Another year. Who knows when I'll get round to that one. A detour ahead. Lunchtime break. I'm told that the army is helping out these guys. So we'll see. G'day, Rod. Okay. G'day, mate. I'm going straight up to visit some old people. Good on you, mate. Well, that was painless. No drama. So we're going to check up on my old mate and his wife, make sure they're all good. See if I can mow the lawns for them. Probably won't let me do anything because I'm bloody independent. So they got other checkpoints all over the place. Like I think it's this road up here, you could turn right. and try and get around it. Good luck with that, mate. And even if you go across country and try and get down that way, they've got checkpoints at every point that you could think of to try and get out of Auckland. Well, my friends are all good, as I suspected. Totally independent, and gave me a cup of tea, but didn't want me to mow their lawns. It's already done. So when we went down to the Cold Kiwi last year, about 12 months ago now, I took a lot of video footage. Way back then I started making videos about it, and then what was moving house, setting up Mrs. B, work. How many more excuses can I come up with? The bottom line is I never got round to finishing editing all that stuff. So over the next few videos, let's take a trip back in time to a simpler time 12 months ago, where life was beautiful all the time and nice young men in their clean. I mean, when we didn't have to worry about social distancing, face masks, you know, this bloody nasty little bug that's sweeping through the world and has brought us to our knees apparently. And who knows what the truth is? I don't know. Never have really believed mainstream media. I certainly don't believe social media. So you gotta sift through the crap and decide what's real for you. That's all that matters. What's real for you? We're gonna go back in time 12 months, just 12 months, and have a look at the 44th annual Cold Kiwi Motorcycle Rally. A good time was had by all. Caution! Ghost lines! Take care!
Grab a chip. Want a chip? You know I can't grab your ghost chips. Go away.
Speed! Spacehead!
The other weird shit, we were told we had to take a COVID test because we take trains onto the port at Auckland, and with the latest community transmission thing of this nasty bug, they decided that any contractor and any person that works at the port has to be COVID tested. So I went over there and had a cotton bud stuck up my nose. Made my eyes water, but it wasn't too bad. Got it done. Came. Where was I? Had the COVID test, came back negative, all good. And then an email came through at work saying we didn't have to have it done. We're drivers because we don't get out of the cab. And another bit of strange shit is that throughout the Auckland metropolitan area, the railways has reduced the line speed down to 40 kilometres an hour for every single fucking train. Our freight trains have a line speed of 80 kilometres an hour. That's been cut in half. Now these things over here, the computer controlled electric go-karts, the modern electric passenger trains, they in certain areas can get up to 110, 115 or something. And they've been reduced down to 40k. So when we come out of this bloody lockdown, that's when the implications are going to hit the general public. At the moment, there aren't many people riding on the public transport. But once we go back to the level 2 and everybody goes back to work, woohoo! You can imagine, you get a passenger train going along, doing 40k, stopping at every station. A freight train's coming along, he has to do about 20k, so that he's not stop-starting at the red signals behind the passenger train. And then another freight train comes along in the other direction. We're all setting off the crossing alarms because they're set up to go off when the trains are doing 80 to 100k. And already I've seen the queues at the crossing, the queues of cars going back either side. And next week when everybody goes back to work, it's going to be madness. And that speed restriction's been going to be on for about 6 months, so I'm hearing. It's got nothing to do with the nasty little bug. More to do with new projects, deferred maintenance, that sort of thing. Maybe cheap rail that we bought from a certain country overseas that has worn out far too quickly. All part of the fun.